But I do think that there are steps that need to be undertaken which fall under the rubric of integration, and they need to be therefore communicated somehow. The Slovak presidency certainly believes that we need to overcome certain differences because, of course, we are very diverse. The EU contains lots of different cultures, and this is great, this is fantastic, and it is amazing that we are putting together in a peaceful way this common project. But precisely because of these differences as they manifest in some areas, we believe that some closer integration is necessary. But I would like to stress not integration for integration's sake, as it might seem from that slogan. We don't think that we should go beyond the necessary, but we should do what is necessary. And what I mean by that is the architecture of the EU, and specifically of the Eurozone, in our opinion, contains certain gaps. And ironically, it is precisely because of this that the crisis which we have experienced was in some places so severe, and why citizens nowadays perhaps associate the EU with troubles, with economic difficulties. If there had been, if the architecture of the Eurozone had been complete from the beginning, we might have avoided many of these problems. And of course, understandably, nowadays there is a lot of emphasis on issues which concern all of the members of the EU, such as migration, the security situation, the challenge of Brexit, and so on and so on. And we, of course, are not ignoring this. We are aware of the zeitgeist. But nevertheless, we do think that the stability of the Eurozone is actually key for the stability of the whole of the EU. If the Eurozone is not doing well, then it's unlikely that the rest of the EU will be doing well. You know, if the center can't hold, then how could the whole remain firm? So, for this reason, we believe that there needs to be a debate on what we call common shock-absorbing mechanisms. And the idea is precisely that because we are such different countries and we are at different stages of economic development, or the size of our economies is so different, our trade links, and also the cycles, the phases of the economic cycle are different. We can easily face a situation where some countries are doing well and others are not doing well, others are doing badly at the same time. Normally, the single monetary policy is meant to take care of the stabilization function, but of course, the one-size-fits-all monetary policy cannot be right for countries if they are in such different stages of the economic cycle. That's called, it's a so-called asymmetric shock. We have experienced such asymmetric shocks, and we believe that unless we take care to provide these shock-absorbing mechanisms while we still can, when we're not under pressure, then the troubles might easily come again. Now, of course, we are a small country, and we are very aware that many member states are skeptical about these ideas, and we understand the reasons for that. There is unfortunately these days a lot of mistrust between member states, and again, some of the reasons are fairly obvious. We already have common fiscal rules, and in some quarters there is a feeling that they're not applied transparently or equally or whatever. The feeling is certainly there. So we understand that there are worries that if we introduced these common mechanisms as another layer of integration, that it might be good for some and not for others. We do believe that the issues, the so-called permanent transfers, where one part of the Eurozone would be constantly supplying the other, for example, they can be solved. There are technical solutions to them, because what we are talking about is basically insurance mechanisms. Not insurance for individuals, but insurance for member states. And of course, the private sector has been developing mechanisms for dealing with these issues for hundreds of years, because there has been a private sector insurance for hundreds of years. So that's why we do believe that these technical issues could be overcome. But nevertheless, we do need to find the political will, or at least we should try to discuss whether this is the right way to proceed. And that is what we were trying to do as the presidency. And I don't know whether I managed to communicate in 5 minutes what the whole issue is about, but I do believe that this is one of the key issues, and it is something that needs to be communicated to the citizens.